somebody was looking for with uplighting. They're looking to find basically the best option when it comes to getting the best colors for their uplighting. And I think that they're looking. They've seen a lot of pictures of some really, really,
There's the first
one. They've seen pictures out there that have been less than spectacular when it comes to the actual color and color saturation. So if a person really wants to do it and do it the best they possibly can, what would you recommend them to do?
Well, I think this might be an informative but not helpful answer.
Okay.
I think the first thing we should do is look at uplights for what they are, which typically are a DJ level fixture. And I think it would be worthwhile to compare those to a professional fixture. And the reason for me saying that is if we think about professional lighting applications, theater, stage, other places where color rendering and color matching and light consistency really matter, it's a very different world in terms of the light engines and subsequently the cost. That what I think someone might regard an uplight as expensive wouldn't even scratch the surface of getting a professional light for like theater. So let me do this. Let me show you a document that is used to measure light output. Mm-hmm. Called a photometric report, and they come in varying levels of detail. But that's a pretty good indicator of the quality of the light that you're buying. And notably, if you look at most DJ level fixtures, you're not going to find a photometric report. And that's very telling right there. Just kind of like, well, it is what it is, so to speak. So let me just share this real quick. Let me pull this right quick here. Okay, so we see this document here.
Yep.
Okay. So this is a photometric report on a professional stage light, and you can see there's a tremendous amount of detail here. And let's go real quick up to the very, kind of towards the top here. So here we can see they're measuring the light. This is, with the medium lens at 5600 kelvins, and here we can see the spectral distribution. You can see the color rendering index. And then we get into some of these other things. We'll get into, the candela and lux diagrams, and the, hue and saturation. So you can see there's a tremendous amount of information here for a lighting designer who wants to really make precise colors. This light has been manufactured and measured to very exacting specifications.
Okay.
In fact, if we get down to the bottom here, and I'm sure that you want a simpler answer to your question, I'm going to try.
I will try to have you. I'll try to interpret this for our viewers here. Just keep going. All
right. So, like here, for example, this is individual diodes. So here we can see this is the medium lens with the mint diode, and here we can see the spectral distribution of the mint diode. Versus, I think everybody's pretty familiar with like RGB, so red, green, blue. So if we come up here, here we can see the spectral distribution of the blue diode, and where that lives. Or here we can come into the scroll faster. It's got to scroll as fast as I talk. Mm-hmm. The green diode, and we can see where in actual nanometers that green diode is. So anyway. We don't see such information for DJ level fixtures, mostly because, they're using cheaper diodes and the consistency simply isn't going to be there, and they're not spending the money on the R&D. So you're not going to get the same color mixing quality out of a DJ level fixture as you would out of a professional fixture. And now that's a broad category in and of itself, right? There are certainly better DJ level fixtures and cheaper DJ level fixtures, and you're going to find more often than not, price follows performance, or performance follows price, rather. So the less money you spend, the less quality it is, the less, tolerances for, engineering and design and reliability and color standard. There might be a lot of shift within the red diodes that are acceptable for that batch, for example. So the simple answer, before I, get back into explaining all this, is I think the more diodes you have in a DJ level fixture, probably the better. So, and by that I mean if you have an RGB-AW plus UV, for example, is probably better, definitely is better than an RGB.
Sure.
If we're trying to mix using an RGB, we're going to find, if we looked at that spectral content, we're going to find some gaps where the, yellow would exist. The yellow is an optical illusion that fools our eye, but when we start having pigments and things in the walls or paints or decorations, then we start losing some of that information. And I've talked about this in some of my classes I've done in years past with the evil rubber duck and whatever, so I think if we have an RGB-AW, that's going to give you the best chance to mix some of those colors that are harder to mix, yellows, pastels, things like that. The UV can be used in conjunction with some of these to bring out some more of that. But we're simply not going to have this level of result with that level of fixture. Mm-hmm. It's like asking your Ford to be a Rolls Royce. It just isn't going to,
And in this particular case, you're showing something that's coming out of the Chauvet Professional line. So it would. Then it would be if the Chauvet would have in the Professional line would have an uplight. You would expect that to have more capability for more accurate color rate production than the DJ line.
Yeah, you would expect, because they're just aimed at a different customer, mm-hmm. and having not only sold but owned fixtures from both families. I mean, I can tell you there's a huge difference in the way that the Chauvet Pro stuff is built versus the way the Chauvet DJ stuff is built. I mean, just the quality of the product, the housing, just really all parts about it, I'm looking to see if I can find something here for you that might be helpful.
But again, because of it being a different beast, really, because of the quality of the R&D and all the different little aspects of it, we're certainly at a different price point. So it's as you say, the performance is following the price.
Yeah, so let's take a look. You mentioned, for example, if Chauvet Pro had an uplight, and they do, they have a couple of them in the Well series, and you'll notice that here, this is the Well panel, which is a battery-powered wash light, and it's got 24 quad-colored, diodes, so it's kind of a beast. But you can notice that it has a few things like redshift emulation and some other things like that, including WDMX, which is a wireless control protocol on board that's advanced frequency hopping spread spectrum protocol, so it's a lot more reliable than some of the other ones. But you'll notice that down here we do have a photometrics report. So. Let's take a look. This is with the standard factory optics, and let's see what we get. So here you can see this information is included. It's available to you, here you can see where some of that spectral output, and where I was talking about how maybe not having an amber, you could have some holes in there. But again, they've given this information because the people buying these fixtures are much more particular and discerning. Mm-hmm. They're maybe working for clients where color matching really matters.
Right, they need to hit that exact tonality of blue, whatever. Yeah,
and just for the sake of fun, let's take a look and see what that street price on that bad boy is. In typical Ben fashion, I didn't prepare for this show at all, so I'm just doing this by the seat of my pants. So just bear with me and enjoy the ride. So, I don't know. I'm listening to a lot of Lithium on Sirius XM, and the DJs there are very. That's kind of the tone they take, right? So I've started to adopt that. I'm
just starting to get a little edgy, a little.
Yeah, edgy and
a little crass, I think, maybe.
Yeah. And you're not getting any good content out of it. Anyway, all right, so just that's my attempt at being a Lithium DJ, and now I'm done with it. So the street price for a single one of those Well panels is $1,800.
Okay.
And in a world where we hear from DJs, well, $300 for a wireless uplight, that's really expensive. No. It's not. I mean, now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's not really expensive for them or really expensive for the market they serve. I mean, again, we used the example of Ford and Rolls Royce earlier.
Yep.
I'm not shopping for a Rolls Royce. I think they're very expensive. So, I think the shoe fits, right? I get it.
That's the thing is that Chauvet has understood that there's a client for this and there's a client for this. And
Chauvet makes a $300 wireless uplight.
Yep,
so
and it works wonderfully.
That's really my point. It just depends on who you are, and more importantly, who your clients are.
Yeah. What their needs are. All right, let's put a break in here and we'll come back with our next question.